Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is June 4, 2023, and the Enriquez Negreira investigation has officially taken a new course. Also, it's reported that the Saudis have already chosen a day when they're gonna be announcing the signing of Leo Messi by Al-Hilal. And finally, Jorge Mendes has offered Manuel Ugarte to Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, it only takes a second, and in doing this, you'll be helping this small and humble channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, or any jerseys or merchandise from any other football team around the world, make sure you hit the kickback. The link is down below in the description. Now, we begin with the news that Barcelona have officially finished the 2022-2023 season with a defeat at the hands of Celta Vigo 2-1, where Celta Vigo's both goals were scored by Gabri Veiga, who Barcelona have considered signing for their midfield. Barcelona's goal was scored by Ansu Fati in what was another disastrous loss by the team, where once again the team looked like they were completely tapped out and they had no interest in winning this match. Now, Barcelona have finished the season at the top of La Liga table with 88 points, 10 points ahead of second place Real Madrid, who they will be heading to the Champions League alongside with Atletico de Madrid and Real Sociedad. Now, Villarreal and Real Betis are both going to be heading to the Europa League, with Osasuna heading to the Conference League. Now, at the bottom of the table, Valladolid, Espanyol, and Elche have all been relegated to the second division, with Granada, Las Palmas, and Levante being promoted to the first division. Now, Robert Lewandowski was not able to add any goals to his tally in this match against Celta Vigo, but nonetheless, he has officially won the El Pichichi trophy, which is given to the top scorer of the Spanish league, where Lewandowski has won the Pichichi, having scored 23 goals this season. And he's the first player since the 2006-2007 to win El Pichichi trophy without having scored any penalty kicks. Now, Lewandowski scored 33 goals in all competitions for Barcelona this season, and this is the 6th season in a row where Lewandowski has finished as a top scorer of the league that he's playing in. Now, Marc Ter Stegen failed to break Paco Liñao's record that was set back in 1993-1994 season for the most clean sheets, which is 26. However, he did equal that record, but in trying to break it, he failed to set his own record for the best goalkeeping average. Now, Marc Ter Stegen has had 26 clean sheets this season, which means he has equaled Paco Liñao's record, and he wanted to set his own record, making it 27 clean sheets. So he decided to play this match against Celta Vigo, but unfortunately, in making this decision, he failed to set his own record for the best goalkeeping average. Now, Ter Stegen had the best goalkeeping average, had only conceded 17 goals this season, with one less match of the current record, which is Paco Liñao and Jan Oblak. However, in deciding to play this match, Ter Stegen was able to concede 2 more goals, which affected his average. And also, he was penalized for that match where he was substituted at the halftime against Real Sociedad. So those goals that he conceded also counted against him, but not the match, because that in order for the match to count for your average, it needs to be at least 60 minutes. So with that, Marc Ter Stegen hurt his average, and he was unable to break Jan Oblak and Paco Liñao's records for best goalkeeping average. However, he was able to equal Paco Liñao's record of 26 clean sheets in a single season. Now, Barcelona are currently on their way to Japan in order to play that friendly match against Andres Iniesta's team, Vissel Kobe, which will take place on Tuesday, June the 6th. Now, on to the news that the Barcelona Femení have officially been crowned the Queens of Europe after winning the Women's Champions League final against Wolfsburg 3-2 in what was a stunning comeback, where the Barcelona Femení were down 2-0 at the halftime, and they were able to score 3 goals in the second half in order to win their second Champions League in their history. after making it to 3 finals in a row. Now this is another trophy in what was another successful season for the Barca Femení, who already won the Spanish league several weeks ago. And it's unfortunate because they could have won another treble, but of course the Barcelona Femení were disqualified from the Copa de la Reina for fielding an ineligible player. Now, speaking of more good news, the Barça Athletic won the first leg of the semi-final against Real Madrid 4-2. And now they're going to be headed to play the second leg of the semi-final, which will take place on Sunday. And if Barça Athletic are able to defeat Real Madrid, they'll be making it to the final, where if they win it, they will be able to be promoted to the Liga's second division. Now, on to the news that the Enrique Negreira investigation has officially taken a new direction, which is more favorable for Barcelona. Now, as we've been talking about for several months now, the Spanish prosecutor's office has been investigating Barcelona on corruption charges to see whether Barcelona were bribing referees or trying to influence the competitions through the hiring of the former referee Enrique Negreira, who was the vice president of the committee of referees at the time of his hiring. And now it seems that this investigation has shifted course, and they're no longer looking into whether Barcelona attempted to bribe referees, because as I've said many times before, there's no evidence to back up that theory. And the investigation are now looking at possible money laundering charges. Now, I talked about this several weeks ago in a video, and I said that it was my personal opinion that the former board of directors under the direction of Josep Maria Bartomeu was actually stealing money from the club by hiring Enrique Negreira. And it looks like the prosecutor's office thinks the same thing, so they have now shifted their focus to see whether Bartomeu and his band of thugs were using the Enrique Negreira hiring in order to steal money from the club. Now, the way this could have been done is through the overpayment of the Enrique Negreira reports, because as you might recall, Barcelona hired Enrique Negreira so he can be a consultant for the club, so he can produce reports on certain referees and how they apply certain rules of football in certain situations. But what the odd thing about this whole thing is that Barcelona were overpaying for these reports. They were paying way above market value. So the way they could have been stealing money is, for example, if a report costs $10,000, they would pay $20,000, $10,000 would go to Enrique Negreira, and then the club would pocket that $10,000 difference. But then on the books, they'd be able to justify how they spent $20,000 by having receipts of paying for a report that the club requested. Now, I personally think that Bartomeu and his band of thugs were doing this with everything else, because again, the club have overpaid for everything, for players, for contracts with PR firms, for everything else. If you look at the Barcelona records for the past several years, they were overpaying for every little thing. So I really think Bartomeu was doing this with everything, not just with Enrique Negreira. And that's exactly what the prosecutor's office are going to be looking at, whether Bartomeu and his band of thugs were using the Enrique Negreira hiring in order to launder the monies, in order to steal and launder the money's club. Now, you might ask, how is this good for Barcelona? Well, it's good for Barcelona because it means that they're no longer under investigation for corruption. So that means that there's not going to be any penalties or any kind of sanctions sporting-wise for Barcelona, because again, the investigation has now shifted to whether Bartomeu and his band of thugs did any criminal activity, and hopefully, if they'll be able to get caught and be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And now on to the news that the Saudis have now picked a date when they're gonna be officially announcing the signing of Leo Messi by Al-Hilal. Now, one of the biggest media outlets in Saudi Arabia have said that on Tuesday, Al-Hilal are gonna be announcing the official signing of Leo Messi. But of course, nothing is for sure, and I still would want to wait to see what Messi will decide, because as I've said many times before, Leo Messi and his wife and his kids want to come back to Barcelona, but nonetheless, it's his father that wants him to head to Saudi Arabia in order to accept that 1.2 billion euro contract. Now, Barcelona have assured Leo Messi that if he's willing to wait for the club, they are going to be making him an official offer. However, Barcelona's hands are currently tied because they can't make an offer until the feasibility plan is approved by La Liga, which is expected to be officially approved either Monday or Tuesday. Now, it's reported that Leo Messi is considering going to Al-Hilal, because even though he would love to come back to Barcelona, he's not sure whether that offer is going to come, because even if the feasibility plan is approved, Barcelona still have to do a lot of things before they can offer Messi a contract, which is registering the contracts of Gavi, Araujo, Sergi Roberto, Marcos Alonso, and Alejandro Valde, renewing the contract of Ousmane Dembele, and of course finding an emergency pivot replacement for the departing Sergio Busquets. Now, speaking of the pivot position, as I reported before, Barcelona were considering the Moroccan Sofiane Amrabat, who's currently playing for the Serie A club Fiorentina, and it seems that Manchester United have entered the race for the Moroccan player. Now, Barcelona attempted to sign Sofiane Amrabat during the winter transfer market, but Fiorentina refused the offer that Barcelona made them, which is a loan with an option to buy. Plus, La Liga informed Barcelona that they didn't have enough space on their wage bill to sign the player, and ever since, Sofiane Amrabat has been dying to come to Barcelona, and he's reportedly willing to force his way out of his current club. Well, it seems that Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, is insistent on having Sofiane Amrabat, so the club have reached out to the player's entourage in order to see what are the player's plans and whether he'd be willing to make a switch to the Premier League. And it's reported that Manchester United could be making an offer for the player in the upcoming days. Now, speaking of pivots, Jorge Mendes has offered Manuel Ugarte to Barcelona. Now, Manuel Ugarte is a 22-year-old Uruguayan midfielder who currently plays for Sporting Lisbon, and he has had a really good season this past season. And as a result, there's a lot of interest in him for many European clubs, including PSG, Chelsea, and Liverpool. And Jorge Mendes, who's the player's agent, has offered the player to Barcelona as a favor because Jorge Mendes always tries to bring players to Barcelona who are under his management. Now, we don't know whether Barcelona are interested in Manuel Ugarte or not, but one thing is for sure that if Barcelona decide to go after the 22-year-old, then it's going to be an easy signing because Jorge Mendes is willing to bring the player to Barcelona. Now, speaking of midfielders, it's reported that Joshua Kimmich will most likely be staying put at Bayern Munich. Now, we've been talking about Joshua Kimmich this past few weeks after reports were leaked to the media that he was interested in making a switch because he was not happy at the situation at Bayern Munich. And now the German media outlets are reporting that Joshua Kimmich has no intention of leaving Bayern Munich and that he only wants to stay at the Bundesliga club. Now, Barcelona became interested in Joshua Kimmich when they heard about the reports that he was interested in leaving Bayern Munich because it's reported that Xabi is a big fan of the midfielder. But now that Joshua Kimmich will most likely stay at Bayern Munich, we're going to have to see who will Barcelona try to sign. And I really think that Kimmich never had the intention of coming to Barcelona and that he most likely was doing this reporting or media leaks in order to have Bayern Munich make him a better offer for his contract renewal, which is set to expire in the summer of 2025. Now, while we are still on the topic of midfielders, it's reported that Barcelona are now willing to offer İlkay Gündoğan a longer contract in order to secure the signing of the German midfielder. Now, İlkay Gündoğan just scored 2 goals in Manchester City's win in the FA Cup final, making it his second trophy of the season. And he's on the verge of winning a treble with Manchester City if the Premier League club are able to win the Champions League final. Now, it's reported that İlkay Gündoğan was willing to reduce his salary in order to come to Barcelona, but only if Barcelona offer him a longer contract, where Barcelona had initially offered him a 2-year contract, but now they're considering extending that contract even more because Xabi would really like to have İlkay Gündoğan on his squad because he considers that the German midfielder would definitely increase the competitiveness of Barcelona on the European stage. Now, it's reported that İlkay Gündoğan is not going to make a decision in regards to his future until after the Champions League final, and it seems that one more club has joined the race for the midfielder, and that's the Serie A club AC Milan. Now, speaking of offers, it's reported that Barcelona are currently planning a contract renewal offer to Dembele that will most likely come in the upcoming weeks. Barcelona are currently negotiating with Dembele his contract renewal, which expires in the summer of 2024. And even though Dembele has a 100 million euro release clause, this release clause is set to go down to 50 million euros during the months of June and July. So that would make it very easy for any club to pay that release clause and take that player. And what makes it even worse, that if someone does do that, then Barcelona would only get half of that release clause, which would be 25 million euros. Now, Barcelona are trying to renew the contract of Dembele because not only does Xabi believe him to be a key part of his squad, but the club also want to get rid of that release clause. and it's reported that Barcelona will be making Dembele an official offer in the upcoming weeks. Now we will end today's video with the news that Jordi Alba has now several offers from European clubs and that he could still be playing a Champions League next season. Jordi Alba announced that he will be leaving Barcelona at the end of this season, and even though the Saudi club Al-Hilal made him a lucrative offer, it's reported that Jordi Alba does not have the intention of leaving Europe yet, and that he believes that he could still compete at the highest level. Now, it seems that there are several clubs who are currently interested in Jordi Alba, including Inter Milan, Atletico de Madrid, and Benfica, where Inter Milan attempted to sign Jordi Alba in the past, but the player refused to leave Barcelona. Now, in regards to Atletico de Madrid, they are currently looking for a left back because their current left back, Reinildo, has a long-term injury. And in the case of Benfica, they have lost Grimaldo, so they're definitely looking for a replacement. So it seems that Jordi Alba is still going to have several options on the table in order to stay in Europe. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I'd like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, peace, Barca.